Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vic, and for today's video I figured we'd do something a little bit different, and you will be joining me as I set up my bullet journal for the month of October. So I use a bullet journal for a planner. I find it a lot better than a traditional planner because if I don't want to use it for whatever reason, I'm not wasting pages because I have to draw every page. So if I don't use it, I don't draw the page, no wasted space. For the first page here, it's my month at a glance. My monthly setup, I do kind of the list format where it's just the days of the month going down the page as opposed to drawing out a whole calendar. This is where I will note down any important dates that are happening within the month or events or anything like that. I don't tend to have a lot of these, so drawing out an entire calendar is a little redundant, so I don't bother. I do draw out calendars for many other things that are coming up, but for this one, I just prefer the kind of clean look of a list. Now, I freehand everything in my journal. I can't be bothered, quite frankly, to whip out a ruler every time I want to set up a page. I have one pencil case with some markers in it and a couple of pens, and that's pretty much it. I don't even normally go through and put post-it notes with what each page is going to be. I only did that for ease of making this video. So it sometimes looks a little scribbly and messy because I don't try that hard to make it look neat. But I'm using this more for practicality than anything else, so I'm not really that fussed with it looking a little bit weird. I'm not filling in this spread at the moment because I don't really think you need to know all of the events that are happening in the month of October for me, but I will fill it out later. Moving on, we have the meal planner. This is a spread that I really actually love. This is one of the main reasons why I went out and purchased this journal to start bullet journaling a couple months ago. I love having a meal planner and planning out as much as I can, as early as I can when it comes to making dinners, because I make dinner almost every night for me and my boyfriend. Not every single night. We have takeaways at least once a week, but I like to try and have more variety. I don't want to be making the same thing every single week, so being able to see it in front of me in a monthly format means I can see how things are lining up and try and space things out better. I fill out some of this, but I don't fill out all of it because I haven't actually worked out all of the meals we will be having. I only plan out dinners, that's the only one I make. Anything else through the day is our own issue at the time. But dinners, we kind of sit down and have dinner together every night, so I like to have an idea of what I need to get for groceries and know all of that ahead of time, so this is where I'm drawing out the calendar. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's really effective for me, and I would not want to change this spread. I've done it the same way since I started having a bullet journal. Big fan. I'm using a lot of orange and green and grey as accents for this, purely because it's October and I figured those were Halloweenish kind of colours and it felt fitting. That's just me flicking to the one from September so I could see what I had done for my header. I like to write cursive for a lot of my headings. My handwriting is a bit gross at the best of times, but I try. Here I'm just filling in the dinners that I have planned out already. There's not a ton, but yeah, Friday night is takeaways night. So every week I try to do a meal that is like fake takeaways. So you'll see on the 7th we're having burgers, and then hot dogs on the 14th, pizza on the 21st, tacos the next week. That's homemade versions of all of those things. So I think it's just a bit more fun and a bit more interesting. This is a sleep tracker. I really like this page. What you do is you list out every day of the month, and then you have like a scale of the hours of a day. So it starts at 5 p.m. and it runs through all of the night, and I think it goes to 3 p.m. the next day. So most of a day. And what you do is you highlight the time period that you were asleep that night. I find this really interesting because I wear a Fitbit. I can see how much I sleep each night. It's tracked on the app, so I can actually very easily input it onto this spread and see visually in front of my face what my sleeping is looking like. This spread looks really ugly before you start filling it out because obviously you highlight as the month goes on. This next page is a split calendar, so there's two monthly calendars on here. One is for assignments and one is for content planning. So this is where I will be filling out any uni assignments that are due in the month, because there's a few. It's my last semester of university ever, in theory, unless something goes terribly wrong, and it ends in October. I have a couple of assignments due in November, but for the most part everything is coming up in October, and it's a little stressful, but we'll get there. Below that is the one for content. This is just where I'll be putting in what videos I'm hoping to post each week. I don't know that this needed to be a whole calendar. I've not done a spread like this before, and I only post videos once a week, so I'm not sure I need the entire weekly format, but it could be good to kind of see when I could film and space things out with the correct amount of days. I don't fill out either of these in this video because I don't want you to see my content ahead of time for a start, and I didn't have the list of due dates with me to put them in that calendar, so I'll be doing that at a later time. There is a lot of writing out dates when you do bullet journaling because nothing is done for you. So either you draw it out yourself, or you write it out yourself, or you invest in some stamps, stencils, or stickers. I don't have stamps, stencils, or stickers, so I have to draw and write everything out myself. I did go through before filming this and I kind of marked out what all of my tables needed to look like with pencil, so I knew where to draw my lines. Normally I just do that as I'm going. I don't have it pre-drawn up, but I wanted this video to flow as nicely as possible, so I didn't want to have to be going back into previous months and seeing what they looked like. That's typically how I'll do headers. I will scribble some color down and then just write in cursive over it. It's very simple, but it does add a pop of color, and I think it looks half decent. I'm not super fussed with this journal. It doesn't need to look perfect. It needs to look nice enough for me to want to use it, but I am more concerned about its functionality. I do find if it's ugly, I won't use it, so I do try, but yeah, it's not the most important thing to me to have the best lettering or anything, because if I make it too much of a task, I won't do it because it'll be too much work. This spread is the Good Job Me page, which I saw this idea on someone else's video. Basically, it's another monthly list where every day you write something you think you did good, or something you're proud of or happy that you did that day. And it doesn't have to be like a big thing. It doesn't even need to be something that was on your particular to-do list. It just needs to be something that you think, that was good. I'm glad that I did that today, or I want to recognize this thing as something I did good. And it's a way of, instead of always looking at your journal as a list of things you need to do and haven't done yet, it's more of a reflective page where you can look at what you have achieved and not get lost in the toxic productivity that can be born out of planning. The next page is a fun thing I like doing every month. This is a bingo page. So I'll be drawing up a bingo board and putting a bunch of like self-care things on there. They're a mix of things that are there purely for joy, that are there for mental health, that are there for physical well-being. It's a mix of all three. Some of them are really, really easy to do. Some of them are a bit harder. The idea is to see how many of them I can cross off within a month and feel good about myself. These things are all there as things that should make me happy, as opposed to cause any amount of stress. This is always a pain every month to, one, draw up, but two, think of all the prompts for. I did it before filming this video. Normally I sit there for ages and I stare at my bingo board going, what do I put? What do I do? Help. I've seen this idea around a few different places on social media, so I definitely did not come up with this. I don't think I've come up with any of the ideas that I've got in my bullet journal, except maybe the content and assignments page. But it is a 5x5 grid. I'll be filling it out in a second, and I kind of jump around on the board as I'm filling it out because I don't want things to be too grouped together. I want to have like decent spacing between things that are easier and things that are more difficult and things that are more exercise focused and whatnot. I want it to be spread out better, so it's not like one particular row is really hard. If you're interested in what kind of pens I'm using, do let me know and I can add it in the description if you care. I only have 3 actual pens that I use, and then a selection of Tombow markers and highlighter brush pen things that I got from Kmart. That's all I use. I don't use a ton of different stuff because, again, I want this to be as easy for me to do as possible, or I won't keep up with it. The Tombow markers I've had for actual years from a previous attempt at being a bullet journaler. I'm just filling in this bingo board. It's taking a while. I did try something different with the heading on this one because I do normally mix it up a little bit with things that look like this versus things that look like the Good Job Me page. But my setup for filming this was really annoying. The tripod was in front of me, which made me have to be quite far back from the desk, and it made everything so much harder to do. But it was the only way I could get a decent angle for filming because I do not have a desk tripod, so I was really relying on my ability to get a decent angle. This is the first weekly spread. We're going into weekly spreads now. I've gone for an orange and gray, and I think there is a bit of green in this one as well. Theme, much like the rest of the monthly setup. Each week will have a different color scheme, but I was enjoying doing this kind of Halloween theme, so I kept it going for this. This is how I do my weekly spreads every single week. I find it really efficient. I can put all of the things that I need to put. It looks nice, it's easy for me to follow, and it doesn't require a lot of upkeep. It's not super difficult to do. It's just 7 boxes, and then there's a monthly calendar up the top corner and a habit tracker. So I highlight the week that is on this spread because I don't put the dates in front of each day of the week. I just write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is my habits that I track in the week. So there's drinking water, exercising, and feeding Penelope, who is my sourdough starter. I've been really bad at not feeding her lately. I need to be better at that or she will die. But here I am just writing the dates. I think it looks nice. My cursive isn't the best cursive ever, but I try. As you can see, my line got really wobbly doing that calendar thing, but it is what it is. I can't really do anything about it now. And my weekly spreads just look like this. They're very basic. I don't do a lot of extra things, but it means I have the space to write my little bullet journal lists of things that I need to do in a week, as well as events and things that are happening. And I just draw one every week. It doesn't normally take that long. It takes maybe 10 minutes to set up one of these pages from start to finish, and that's including like filling out what I know is happening in the week so far. I do kind of screw up this page on, I think it's Thursday. I go down 1 square too many while doing that part. And that just is there now. I like to have spaces between each day because I think that flows nicer for my brain to kind of differentiate dates, but you can see here, there, look, it's sticking out the bottom. I don't have any whiteout or anything, and even if I did, the pages on a bullet journal, this is a Leuchtturm, I can't say it, it's a German word, dot grid journal, the kind of OG bullet journal, and the pages are like a cream color, so even if I had whiteout, that would also stand out. So I just leave it, honestly, I don't care that much. But that's the weekly spread, and I think I'm gonna do a flip through, so we're just gonna go to the start. So that's my October month at a glance with my whack lettering for October, my meal planning with everything that I know we're having so far. We're gonna go over to my sleep tracker, which looks super boring because it's not filled in yet. My assignments and content calendars. Very basic. It's so basic. My Good Job Me spread, which I did alternating lines in yellow just to give it a bit more interest to look at. My October bingo. As I do these things, I kind of outline them in a color so that page will get more interesting as the month goes on. And this is the first weekly spread. I've not filled it out yet, but I will. And I'm very excited to get into October and be nearing the end of the year. But that's it for this video. That's everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you bullet journal, let me know what you think of my spreads. Otherwise, please subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and I hope I see you all next week in my next video. Love you all so much, and goodbye.